And so, welcome everyone to our weekly home-based business chat. We love sharing this information with you because individuals have been searching, they're looking for additional streams of income. And so, we like to share some stories from individuals who really have been able to reach a level of success, whether that is become debt-free or use this as their full-time income or use this for a tax break and working on being debt-free. We like to share those stories with you to let you know that it is possible. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start with Sheila Sherman. She's going to share her story, and then the Motts are going to share their story, and I'll share mine, and we'll get into some actual data and content and statistics for those that need that information. So I will go on mute and turn it over to Sheila.
Thank you. I am Sheila Sherman, and I am from Detroit, Michigan, but I live in Canada. I've been living here for about 20 years. This is going to be my 20-year anniversary actually this year. And I have been with Young Living for 12 years. And interestingly enough, when I joined Young Living 12 years ago, nobody had heard of Young Living, and it's just such I'm just so grateful to see how much Young Living and our essential oils have grown around the world in the last 12 years, and how much, well, 12 years I've been in, Young Living's been around for 25 years, but how much more that we are growing, even continuing to grow, that we still have so much to offer the world. So that is very, very exciting to see that part. And a little bit about me is when I started 12 years ago, my sister actually told me about the product, and she had come across the essential oils, and the oils were one of the only natural things that started to help her daughter, who was going through chronic fatigue at the time. And she started seeing some very positive results by using oils with her daughter. So she contacted me, so excited, Sheila, you have to get these oils. You have to. They're just so miraculous. And like how many people start out with things that they're not so sure about, I was a little skeptical about it, but I did it anyway. I thought, what the heck, it can't hurt. And so I went ahead and got my starter kit and got started with the oils, and immediately started seeing results in my own health and my own family. One of the things is I have 6 kids, and I had just had my 6th. I didn't just have him, he was 2, but had number 6. Who was 2 years old, almost 3 at the time that I discovered the oils. And I was a happy mom, kid 1 through 5, but by the time 6 came along, it really knocked me off hormonally, I came to realize later. But I was not such a happy mom anymore. I was actually crying a lot, stressed a lot. I'm a homeschooling mom, so I didn't get a break from the kids at all, ever, 24/7. And it was not such a happy time for me, but I didn't understand why, because I loved what I did. I loved being at home. I loved being a homeschooling mom. I loved having my kids at home, but I went through a rough period for 2 years of just not being myself. And immediately after I got the oils, not thinking they would do anything, I became a well-adjusted mom again. I got my groove back, I got my happiness back, and I did nothing different but start applying and using the oils. And for about 2 years, I just shared the oils with everybody. I started learning about them, educating myself, empowering myself, and I shared the oils with everybody I knew. And after about 2 years of that, I said, you know what? I actually asked my upline, I said, is this something I can make money at? And she said, absolutely. And so I started looking into not just making money a little bit here and there, but being very, very intentional about having a home-based business where I can, as a stay-at-home mom, I can work part-time and be able to bring in a, a significant income. And so that was about 10 years ago when I got serious about the business. Started out part-time. One of the beautiful things about having a home-based business is being able to work it around you. And I was intentional, and I was definitely put the time in, but I worked that around me and my family's needs. And that paid off in spades, I guess is one of the sayings that people say. It paid off for me. So I am just so happy and grateful for this company, for these products that I've used for not only my health, but for my family's health, and has enabled me to live with less chemicals in our lives and see positive results, both in our wealth and or in our wellness, and in the abundance monetarily that this company has brought to me and my family members.
Thank you so much for sharing, Sheila. With that, we'll turn it over to the Motts, and they're going to share a little bit of their story.
Welcome everybody. How's everybody doing? So there's so many different parts of like my story and then how it relates to my husband. But tonight I really want to focus on the financial part of it, because I actually didn't even pay as much attention to this part until later. Because I feel like for me, when I looked at Young Living, it always was something like the MBA. And what I mean by that is like, do people make it to the MBA? Absolutely, right? And they make really good money and they're amazing, right? But that is for the talented. That is for them. And so I never really looked at it as something that I could do, maybe with my personality, maybe with the knowledge that I had. For me, for those that don't know me, I'm very introverted. I have a lot of opinions, but I'm more a one-on-one person. For me, big crowds, big groups is intimidating. And so when I would see people on stage and I would see all of the fanfare around something like this business, I loved it. Like I probably fell in love with the idea of the business probably when Tashina, who is my older sister, and the rest of my family were in a business, and I was too young to even participate in the business, because I loved the personal development. I loved the possibilities. But again, I just didn't see it as something that I could do, because I'm like, I don't know how to sell things. I don't know any people. Like all of those limiting beliefs are pretty much what I held on to. And so for me, as I entered and transitioned into making money with this business, it truly was an accidental business. Like I had absolutely no intention of having a business. I always joke and tell people, Tashina tricked me into having my first party because I'm a licensed esthetician. And of course, I love people. And so she's like, let's have a spa party at your clubhouse and invite all of your friends and you can do facials on them. And of course, because I love facials, that sounded great, right? And then she's like, and you can use all of my Young Living skincare and we can use the oils and everything. And so for me, again, most things came off organic. Most things came off naturally. So I'm using the products, I'm using the oils. Even at the time, I hadn't had my own classes, but at work, I would have my little oils and I would share my oils. I remember at some point I got a check and Anthony being upset with me because he's like, you didn't tell me you're doing a business. And I'm like, I'm not doing a business and I don't know why I got this check. Like, and so I say all of that to say, I'm so grateful that once those things started happening, I leaned in, and I love the word that was used before, I became more intentional about making the money. And at that point, because I realized it's not just for the few that go in the NBA, this is seriously something that any and everybody could do, I started really paying attention. And I know for me, again, it might have been a little bit slower than other people, but even from right now where our checks are, it's like I was able to start doing things like pay for my kids' swim lessons, which I wasn't able to do before. It was, no, baby, we don't have the money for swim. We can't do that. I got to be able to step away from my aesthetics. I no longer work in a spa setting because something that was dear on our heart was to homeschool our kids. So wherever you are, maybe you're one that's saying, if I could just get a couple extra $100 a month, that would be great, right? To offset some of the things. This is for you, okay? And maybe you're like, nah, I need a whole career shift because I'm not going back in September. This is for you. It truly is a place for everybody in this process.
And then I want to add just a little bit to that. So even though I've been relatively quiet sitting here, I am more the extrovert between the two of us. I absolutely love being around people, and I love people. One of the things to give the full scope of it is, not just young living, but network marketing has always just made sense. No problem. Network marketing has just always made sense to me. I am a dollars and cents guy. So for me, it has to make practical sense for me to want to do it. And in learning about the industry and what it makes available, it really serves a purpose for every single family. So, or person. So I always like Lindsay Tig Moreno, if you guys are familiar with her or not. But I really like that she says that Young Living is not her main business. But it allows her to do all of the things and pursue all the things that she wants to do. And so when she presented that idea to me, along with learning about the amazing products that Young Living offers, that's really what changed my mental aspect. Dana mentions that we had I remember we had like a little argument about her getting a check because I'm like, all right, like you're in a network marketing business. Like I immediately saw it and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't committed to anything. But really when you think about it, even getting checks on accident, where else do you know that offers that? You could go to a job and you're not going to get accidentally overpaid. They're not going to give you an extra check without asking for it back on your 9 to 5. So really, as we got to learn more about Young Living and network marketing as an industry, it made sense. It has allowed us to make a lot of financial changes in our lives. If you guys have not followed us on social media, we have paid off our home. I just bought my dream car, and all through having additional income that doesn't come out of your budget makes those kind of things possible. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. And then one last thing that I'll add with that is that this business will look different for each and everybody. As I mentioned, I'm the extrovert. Like I love being in front of I used to hate to admit this, but I love being in front of people. I love being in front of the camera. So those that tune in to our Wednesday class, that's why you'll usually see me teaching, because it just comes natural to me. And so we play to each other's strengths. Dana's the more person who will hold me accountable and hold herself accountable and those on our team. So she handles those strengths and I play to mine. So even if you're on here and you're like, how can I get my husband or my significant other more involved? As a man that has crossed over to being like a frontline runner with something like Young Living, honestly, it's a partnership and you play to each other's strengths. If there's something, if he's good at accounting, or he's good at keeping track of numbers and logistics of what it takes to run a business, involve your spouse. Ask him if he puts together spreadsheets and that's something he's good at, have him put together your spreadsheets. It doesn't necessarily have to be him in front of the camera teaching or in front of a class teaching, but this will look different to each and every person. But what it offers is really worth it. So I'm speaking from that aspect of being a man involved. I get that question a lot, and I wanted to be sure to share that with you guys. So that's led us to where we are now, and we absolutely love it, and we look forward to the journey that's to come.
Thank you guys so much for sharing. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And that's why we love doing these classes, because we got to already hear from someone who is successful and working this full time and has been working it full time. And then we got to hear from a family who this is their second part-time income, but it has already brought them so much blessings financially, being able to be debt free. And then I have a different perspective as well. I come from the corporate world. When you paint the picture of the typical Young Living person, I am literally like the opposite of everything. I am not a homeschool mom. I don't have 2.5 kids. I am divorced. I am allergic to anything with fur. Like everybody in Young Living loves their animals. I'm literally like the opposite of what you paint as a typical Young Living person. And again, I come from the corporate world, so I never was really all that crunchy. In the automotive industry, we exercise, but we start our day with 3 cups of coffee or a Monster energy drink. And once a week, we have pizza and Buffalo Wild Wings and Chinese. And we work 12 hours a day, certain seasons, and we have a lot of stress. And then by the time we're 30, we have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, and that's just life. That's just how we live, and we just accept it, and we start adding on our medications. And that's what happened to me. When I was in my early 30s, I was on 7 different medications. I had hormone issues. I was excessively bleeding. I could never breathe my entire life, and I was like, this is not right. Like, there's got to be solutions for this out in the world. And that was my first motivation to come into Young Living. But then I also have my career. And so when I actually went to college, I stood there because I love helping people. And I get to do that in my volunteer preaching job, and it's very rewarding. And I just said, okay, that's where I'm going to help people. When it comes to my day job, I don't have to worry about that. So instead of going into something like education, because I had done lots of tutoring and I loved kids, I decided to go into business because it was going to make me more money. And I was going to use my volunteer Bible preaching. That's where I'm going to help people. And in my day job, I don't need any satisfaction or anything. That's just how I get my check for my volunteer job. And I wanted to go into marketing. And at the time when I graduated in 2002, the market was saturated. And so everyone wanted 10 years of experience. And so then I just ended up in the most typical, for Michigan, job that you could have in the automotive industry after a little stint in real estate. And at this point in time, I'm in the top 8% income earners for where I live. So I am wealthy compared to most people. I do not have any issues with money. People follow me on Instagram. They know last year I traveled all over the world. I was planning on doing it again, and then the world shut down. Like, I am set. But what I'm looking for currently is to be able to expand my volunteer ministry, to have more time freedom, and to be able to help more people. I do a lot of coaching when it comes to this particular business, as well as self-development. People ask me, can I help them learn Spanish? Because I've learned Spanish. And I just don't have extra time to do that when I'm working 45 hours a week in a day job. So what I'm looking for out of this is my time freedom so that I can, in all of my endeavors, help more people. And with that, I'm going to pause my story, and I'm going to share my screen and get into some of the data of our presentation. So again, this presentation is why now is the best time to start a business, and why a home-based business might be a great start or option for you and your family. So I loved this when I researched this. These are companies that were created between 2008 and 2010, the last time we had a recession. So how many of these companies do you recognize? I recognize them all. How many of these companies do you use? I've used WhatsApp today. I've used Instagram today. I'm actually in this multi-vendor thing, and I think I used Square yesterday when I ordered something from someone. We haven't been using Uber as much, but when I travel, that's usually what I use, that or Lyft. I'm not really a Pinterest person, but I know what that is. I know what Venmo is, and Groupon is my favorite way to pamper. Like, I love looking up some massages and a new salt place or whatever to go and doing it via Groupon. So these companies were created when there was a down market and there was a recession. So keep that in mind. Now, why network marketing? So part of my story also is too, I was actually like Dana. I tried a couple of network marketing things in the past, and I loved the self-development that came with it. But the last one that I did, in their hotel meetings and the way that they did it, and I never had like an emotional connection to their products, I just was not successful in it. So I was always a business person, and I was like, I'm going to get an additional stream of income. I'm going to get me some passive income. I've read the cash flow quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki, but I thought one day I was going to do that via real estate, because network marketing didn't work for me. And a lot of people have had negative experiences with network marketing. We understand that. For some people, it is a bad word. They will put on Facebook, I'm looking for some organic makeup, and they'll put in parentheses, no MLM, please, because they feel so negatively towards it. But we got to remember that that's every industry, right? Some people feel negatively towards politicians, and some people feel negatively towards lawyers, but that doesn't mean that they're all terrible. And there are some benefits from this industry. It is a legitimate industry that is regulated, and there are some benefits for those who are interested in learning how to work it correctly. So what are those benefits? You can build it part-time and anytime. So I work in an office usually, and I am an extreme extrovert. We have our hands-on spa parties. We have our in-person classes. I love to be around people, and the world shut down in March. And I was able to convert all of my classes to online. You guys are here with me virtually today. We have people from all over the country. So we could do it anywhere. I can do it anytime that I choose to do it. A lot of what I do for my business, like Alicia knows, I'm messaging her on Instagram at night, because that's when I'm working my social media, right? I do it anytime when it's convenient for me. And part-time, right? I have a daytime job and I have a volunteer job. And with the time I have left is what I do for my home-based business. You can launch it for as little as $500 to $1,000. Now, the initial startup fee is less than $500 with Young Living. And we recommend you do some education. So when you start, somebody's going to encourage you to maybe go to a beauty school, or the upcoming, what we call On the Grow, which is where you have a virtual farm experience right now. They may suggest a couple of books for you. And then, of course, you spend a certain amount per month to ensure you get a check. But within the first 3 months, you could still spend less than $500 to launch your online franchise. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Your business partners have a vested interest in you. I sit down with the corporate person I have accountability with, and we set my major goal. And then the only thing that I tell him is, I'm going to help this person move forward. I'm going to help this person move forward. I'm going to help. My goals are literally 100% contingent on how many people that I'm going to help reach their goals. You can create enough tax deductions alone to make it worthwhile. This is one of the things that, as a person who is a six-figure earner, is amazing and wonderful to me. Some of the tax deductions include travel. We go to visit our farms and the Young Living Convention, and it's tax deductible because we get training while we're there. It's one of the best vacations that, the first time we went to Salt Lake City, we're like, but it's like being in Colorado. It's amazing over there. And honestly, if I would not have had this business in the past 5 years, I have had a couple of promotions. I probably would have not seen any of that promotion if I didn't have a business for these tax deductions. You can learn it while you earn it. So the day that you start your business, you can immediately start inviting people to classes. You can immediately start sharing, and you can immediately start earning the day that you sign up. And you choose how far you want to go. You can earn an extra 500, 1,000, 5,000 or more a month. And there are people on this call that are at those levels or more. With time and success, your income will be produced by hundreds, perhaps thousands. Now here's some network marketing myths. So getting in on the ground floor is the best path to success in any network marketing company. And this simply is not true. Again, I have a business degree, and there is a business life cycle. In the beginning, there are like a lot of problems a lot of times. Getting things standardized and getting things online, there can actually be a lot of problems if you start with a company on the ground floor. And most people know the statistic that most businesses fail within, 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. So you really do want to try to get a company with a little bit of longevity underneath it. And then we have had, because of the way the industry, because of other external factors out there, like right now we are in year 26 and we're going to have our best year ever because we are a health and wellness company and there's some wellness concerns in the world right now. So we are poised in year 26 to have one of our best years ever. Our last best year was probably 2014. So there's no need to worry about, did I get in late? Network marketing is an opportunity for someone who is not doing well financially to make a lot of money. And this is just a myth because yes, it is an opportunity. This can be a full-time opportunity, full-time career for someone, but it's also an opportunity for someone like me, someone who is already doing well financially, but wants time freedom. They want their only income to be where they can work anytime and anywhere so that they could spend some of their additional time elsewhere. Network marketers succeed by being in the right place at the right time. Again, though you can get lots of training on how network marketing works, you can get lots of training on how the specific compensation plan works, but you are paid on your efforts, and it's not necessarily to be in the right place at the right time. And the big guys make all their money off the little guy. Again, this is simply not true. I've seen it. I've seen an individual do just a little bit of work and they get a check for like $1,000, and the person underneath them does a lot of work and their check is way, way bigger, like 100 times bigger than the other person. So you get paid on your efforts. You do get a small percent of what the people are underneath you. But if those people work harder than you, I promise you their checks will be higher than you. Now, why health and wellness? So we just talked about network marketing, getting rid of some of those myths, understanding, yes, there are benefits for those that can learn the industry. But why health and wellness? Well, the global wellness market reached approximately 4.75 trillion last year. And the health and wellness industry is growing at a rate of 6.4%. The categories include complementary medicine, preventive medicine, healthy eating, nutrition, weight loss, spa economy, physical activity, personal care, beauty and anti-aging, and more. And so for those of you that maybe are newer to Young Living, we have almost all of those categories locked down. We have a healthy eating line. We have nutrition products. We have a weight loss line. We have a spa in Ecuador. We have a fitness line. Some of the things were developed with Olympians. We have a personal care line. We have a beauty line. We have a makeup line. We have an anti-aging line. We have preventive supplements. We have complementary care. We have the entire health and wellness industry locked down. I will have people come in my inbox very frequently at the end of the month. Hey, can you buy such and such for me? I'm trying to reach a goal. And I'll be like, I got that in my business already. So I'm not going to be able to do that for you. Now, why Young Living? So Young Living owns their own farms. I have had the opportunity to go to 2 of those farms. I've been to Utah twice, and I've gone to Croatia, again, on a tax-deductible vacation to go visit the farm and learn more about my business. Their farms have a better than organic standards. So in order to be organic, you can't have pesticides on where you're growing your food for 5 years. Young Living has 50 years or more, and they locally source. They make sure that we're getting what we need from where it is naturally grown. Their industry-leading research and testing and seed-to-sale promise is unmatched in the industry. 25 plus years in the industry with like additional of 10 plus years of research before the company are ever started. Low startup costs. Again, we talked about how a network marketing company can be between 500 and 1,000. Well, with Young Living, you can actually start between $45 and $200 for your first month. The largest selection of essential oils, oil-infused products, and toxic-free lifestyle brands. We have over 600 products in so many different areas. And so that's the data that I want to share with you guys. And with that, I just want to have you guys reflect on a couple things, and then we'll turn it over to our presenters to share their closing thoughts, and then open it up for questions. But I want you guys to think back to that first slide where it talked about the companies that were started in the last recession. Because my journey from college to where I am now was not a straight line. I was in the automotive industry in 2008. And in 2008, my then husband lost his job and my job was in jeopardy. They sold my company. And so I was making around $35,000 a year back then. And I went and found another job, and I told myself, we will never, ever be in this position and do this again. You go diversify. He went into the healthcare field. He went into a more stable field instead of a field that goes like this all the time, the automotive industry, where you have to stress every 10 years. And I was like, I'm going to go find a job making $60,000 a year, because that'll be what, if you ever lose your job again, I'm not going to have to worry about it if I do that. And I did. I went and I found a job that was even a little bit more than that. And then within that period, I had 2 promotions where now I'm a 6-figure earner. So that crisis of 2008, I was in it, I lived it, but I made a decision. I said, I will never have this happen to me again. And that crisis propelled me to be a 6-figure earner because I acted. And we're in that period right now. Some people lost a lot in 2008. They lost businesses, they lost their jobs, they lost lots. But some people won, like myself, that took advantage of it. And some people won big. They became billionaires because they saw a need and they filled it. And so again, we're right in a time where people have lost way more under what we're going through now, right? People have lost family members and they're struggling, but some people have lost things financially and it's been more difficult. Now is the time for you to act. If you act and you make a decision to be intentional with your home-based business, you have the opportunity to look back 10 years from now and say, I was one of the ones that acted. And in order to do that, what you need to do is, if you're here for the first time and you haven't joined the Young Living family, you want to get with the person that invited you and join the Young Living family. And if you have just been maybe using your oils a little bit, get with the person that you usually speak with and say, hey, I heard that this is a legit business. I heard that you have a training system. How do I plug into this training system? And how do I make money later today? Like you said, I can. That's what I'm going to close with. I might add a couple things afterwards, but with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sheila to add her thoughts.
Hi, a couple things that you said that I just want to kind of emphasize. And when you talked about the slide on the myths, I think a lot of people probably allow some of those limiting beliefs to hold them back. And here is what I would say about that. I'm not really wanting to go into trying to convince you or convince anybody that the myths are myths. But here's the thing that I kind of think about. If you decided to take a quote unquote risk, there really is no risk. But if in your mind it's like, what if this doesn't work? Or what if it's, and you decided, let me go for these products because they work. Let me go into this and check it out. Guess what? It's not your life's decision if you don't want it to be. In other words, you could always say, hey, I tried it and it wasn't for me. I don't think you would say that with this particular company, but I don't want you to think that, hey, if I go for this, I'm stuck. No, this is something where you are in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And so just like what I did, I actually wasn't even thinking about doing it as a business, but I wasn't so sure about the products, but I did it anyway, because what if I am missing out on something that could be a solution for myself? I wasn't really willing to take that risk because there was a need and I was looking for something natural to help me. If it hadn't, and I thank God that it did, if it hadn't, it wasn't going to be the end of my life. But it did, and then it led to well beyond anything that I could hope or think at the beginning. And so I want to encourage you. Why? Because I care about you. Because I know what has happened for me. I don't want to keep it with just me. I want it to happen for everybody, actually, everybody that would set forth and take that tiny, tiny so-called risk, again, which really isn't a risk. What's the worst that's going to happen? The worst that's going to happen is you're going to get some great products and you are going to see a difference in your health. And that's the worst that could happen. But you're going to come into, and this is what another thing Tanisha said, the Young Living family. You're going to come into a family. You're going to come into a family of people who want to see you succeed. And that's what we need for success, is people that also want to see us succeed and give you that support in training, emotionally, everything. And you're going to learn some really cool stuff about essential oils. It's like the coolest stuff to learn about on the planet. I've learned about herbs. I've learned about fermented foods and being a raw foodist and all that. But it has been nothing cooler than learning about essential oils and the power of these oils. And so the worst that could happen is that you're going to be better off in at least one area, your health, probably two areas in your mind and the things that you learn. And then most likely with that intention, financially, that can happen for each and every person. So I just want to encourage you, because I'm having such a great time. When COVID happened, I didn't even blink. I didn't even need to blink. It was like, I didn't have to pivot. I was already online. I just did, it did nothing, right? I know it's doing things, right? And I know, and I'm not trying to downplay that. But what it really did in me was it helped me say, hey, there is even a greater need. And it gave me more of a spark, like it re-sparked me. It set the fire, back up and turned it up. It was like, whoa, so many people need this now, even more so than ever. So that's what it did. My skin even cleared up, because I'm like, hey, I am on fire now, right? So it is like, seriously, my skin cleared up. I don't know why, but my skin cleared up. And it's like, this is like your passion, right? So I really want to encourage you to get with the person who shared this video with you, or who shared this video with you, or sent you to this video, and say, you know, what if all those things can be for me? And I think they can. I know they can. So get with that person, get started, don't hesitate, and you'll never look back.
Thank you so much. So I wanted to mention something. I meant to mention it on the slide when I was talking about all the industries, and reiterate what Anthony had said when he said that Lindsay Teague Moreno says this is not her main source of income. And that's one of the things that I love about this as well, that with the breadth and the depth of the product line, you get to bring your passion into it with you. You know, Dana and Anthony have multiple streams of income because Dana is a published author, and she gets to share her passion of skincare and hair care with the world. I have moved into self-development, and I'm working on possibly getting with corporate under another leader to do the training and coaching that and the teaching that I've always loved to do. There's people in here who have tremendous skills in cooking, and they can help develop different recipes with the vitality oils. And maybe one day they're going to make their own book, and then they can have another stream of income. My friend Alicia joined. She is a makeup artist extraordinaire. Like, we are so excited. I mean, and I hope that she's felt like the love, because like, I mean, I posted her on my page and 100 people were like, welcome to the team. Most of those people aren't on my team. Some of those people ain't even in Young Living, and they're excited for her to be on the team.
I've never even had that many likes on my Facebook. I looked today and I have like 100 likes. I told my son, look at that. I don't even know them.
So yeah, whatever your passion is, you can actually bring it into here, marry it, and create an additional stream of income with that. That's what the thing that I love. Like, you know, there may be another company and it kind of aligns with you, but you can actually bring your passion into this and marry it with it and keep that running. That's an amazing thing. And then for me, so when the world shut down, I was affected by that. I was put on layoff. No one asked me. They just called me and said, we're going to cut your pay 25% and you're laid off. And I didn't have any choice. And then my business skyrocketed. And the way that my business skyrocketed covered what my pay cut was. And I didn't even have to worry about it. So again, this is the best place to be in a home-based business and health and wellness when people are looking for extreme wellness right now. And we want you guys to understand that, so that you're intentional. And 3 months from now, you are so glad that you put that intention in. Anthony, did you have any last thoughts or summaries?
Sorry, guys. I'm life hacking at the same time, eating my food and listening. But yeah, so I absolutely agree 100% with what everyone said. One thing that I was saying to Dana, I love it when we go over the myths of getting into something like network marketing, because I think that's the biggest hang up when people get involved. Is we set this this expectation that we're going to get involved, we're going to make all this money in a short amount of time, and 6 months later, your life is going to look totally and completely different. And one of the things I mentioned to Dana is, especially, I think it was myth 2, that talks about if you are a person who's financially struggling, how network marketing just allows you to turn that around and make all this money in a short amount of time. Well, I love finances. The past 6 years, I've put in a lot of effort into studying finances, not only from the logistics of it, but also the psychological aspect of it. And it's helped me to appreciate something about my business and dealing with people. And typically, if someone has a problem with finances, most of the time that's a psychological issue and a behavioral issue. So just because network marketing allows you the opportunity to earn a lot of money in a short amount of time does not mean that that will happen for you. If that is something that you struggle with, like finances and creating a budget, following a budget, and being successful in that area, you will struggle in this business. So I always tell people to start there because that helps you to develop discipline and skills, which is necessary to be in this industry. So I love that point that you brought out, Tashina, and I always add that caveat to there because this will stress you as a person. It will help you to grow as a person. And as those things begin to change within you, then you'll see the benefits. So I think sometimes we do ourselves a disservice when we look at the exceptions and we see the person that's like, yeah, I made $4,000 in 30 days because I recruited 120 people in 1 month. But realize that this is a journey and it's okay even to be the rule. So the rule, as I think Tashina, you mentioned that it's about 4 to 7 years to develop something like this. It's okay to be the rule. That's still a lot shorter than the average 30-year plan of working your 9-to-5 job and retiring on a percentage of what you currently make. So I think honestly and wholeheartedly, this is one of the best ways to go, regardless of what your passion in life is, whether that's oils and wellness. That's great. If not, that's great. There's still money that you can use to funnel over to fuel your dreams and your passions. So use it. It's there as an opportunity for that. And it'll allow you to do a multitude of things and be successful in life in general. So I just wanted to add those things.
I'm sorry, I wanted one last thing. The only thing I just wanted to add to that is just like if you were going to school to be a nurse, you get education. And so understand that there are going to be requirements of education in order to be successful here. So be willing to invest that. So lovingly, Tashina puts this together every single Friday at 5 p.m. So be here. Invite other people here. It's not going anywhere, right? And I would say too, when I first started, I didn't teach my own classes. I just brought people to the classes that were already there. I didn't teach. So use what you have.
Thank you guys. Any questions or comments? We have a few minutes before 6 o'clock.
I do. Is there any way that you can send me the mix? Because I missed that part. I missed a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's no problem. Okay.
Yep, I can definitely send it to you. Any other questions, guys?
And you're new, right? You're new?
Yes, I am. I'm so
All right.
excited.
I am so excited for you, and I want to welcome you. And I just love your story of now you got all these likes. I mean, this is awesome.
And all of a sudden, I was saying this.
So, and that's what this is about. This is about us lifting each other up.
Yeah.
And encouraging each other. And I'm looking forward to seeing you be a huge success in Young Living, whatever that looks like for you.
Thank you.
And that's what's cool. This is about you and bringing your gifts and talents to other people and sharing what you have. So you're already experiencing a tiny bit of success with those likes. Yeah. It's just going to keep going. So I'm so excited for you, and welcome
Thank you.
to the Young Living family.
Yeah, so Alicia has 8 years of experience as a MAC makeup consultant.
Oh, okay.
So we feel like our team is complete now with Dana is got her book, plus Ryan on our team is an actual hairstylist. Dana's an esthetician, and Alicia's our makeup artist. Now we feel like we have our beauty team complete.
That's cool.
And we're ready to work directly with corporate and make sure that people of color are going to have all the input and things that they need.
Yeah,
So.
Good. That's awesome. That's beautiful. I love it.
Well, all right, guys, I will definitely stop